Hi everybody, I'm Tim with Motorrad Adventures, and we're going to do a little bit of a video today to show you a little bit about your air filter on your adventure motorcycle. As you can see, these two bikes of ours have just come back from a 4,500 kilometer trip all the way through South Africa, from Johannesburg, the cradle of humankind, all the way to Cape Town, about a 60-40 split of gravel to tar. And we had a fantastic group of Malaysians that came out from Malaysia and they rode with us. And we've had it in the experience in the past where um, bikes that are in the convoy, they're sucking in dust all the time, and it's going straight down the ram tubes into your air filter. And we've actually had a couple of those air filters that have failed, and it's ended up sucking a whole lot of dust and stones and things through into the engine, destroying the engine. So we want to show you a way that we figured out how to actually prevent that from happening and to sort of pre-filter the air when you're out on your adventure bike on the gravel roads. And we believe that it's a fantastic thing to do, and it's very inexpensive. We're going to show you how to do that today on this video, but it's important to note that you're going to need a few things, and it's quite an oily, messy job. So you should always wear your old t-shirts to do this. Let's get started. As you can see, we've taken the bikes off the trailer and we brought them into the garage. They're really filthy. They've been off-road a lot on this particular tour, and this is the maintenance that we do once the bikes have come back from tour. We're going to show you how to do it. Basically, on all bikes, all vehicles, you need air into your engine. On the BMW, for example, we have an air intake on the right, we have an air intake on the left. The bike sucks air in, it goes through an air filter, which goes down through your throttle bodies and supplies air to the engine. You need that air to be as clean as possible. You don't want any bits of sand or fine dust in there. It will really wear out your engine. So what we do is we pre-filter our air. And we use Unifilter pre-filter socks. They're almost like a gnome's hat. We're going to show you guys these things in a moment. But they fit down the ram tubes, and they have filter oil on them, which is sticky like honey. For those of you that have ever ridden an enduro bike, you'll know you come back from a ride, you take your foam air filter out, you clean it, you re-oil it, you put it back in. And that sticky oil catches very fine particles of dust, debris, stones, etc. Pre-filters it. On top of that, we also use a Unifilter reusable air filter, which is also foam and also has filter oil on it. It isn't the K&N or the BMC type air filter. Those are fantastic for racing around tracks where there's very little dust. Those sort of filters are for road use and racing. They do not have the ability to filter out fine particles of dust. If you use one of those in your bike and you go off-road at all, you are going to destroy your engine. So what we're going to do, we're going to take off the side panel. We're going to take off the tank cover so we can access these Uni filters. We're then going to show you exactly how to clean them and reinstall them from new. And really, guys, this is a very inexpensive way to have lasting years out of your bike and the engine. It really, really does help. All right, so follow me over to the workbench and I'll show you exactly what we need to do this job. First thing we're going to need, a couple of plastic clear tubs to contain our liquids. We then need some foam air filter cleaner to clean the dirty filters. You can also use turpentine, but it becomes quite expensive. We need some brake parts cleaner to clean up around the air intakes. And once that's all cleaned, we need some Motul air filter oil to re-oil the filters. We also need a Torx 25 and a Torx 30 to take off the tank covers and the side panels. Little magnetic thing to help keep your screws so you don't lose them. Big tip, some grippers, because this gets very oily. These things are a massive help to put on your hands to keep you from making a horrible mess of your hands. And our favorite, bro wipes. These things are pretty cool to wipe off any excess grease on your hands, your face, wherever else you might get it. And a couple of microfiber towels always helps. So we've made a cup of tea, and for the eagle-eyed viewer among you, you will notice that the bike has miraculously been cleaned during that time. The reason why we cleaned it, it's just a little bit easier to work on. What we're going to do now is remove this side cover. Got 5 Torx 25 screws to remove. We'll show you how to do that, and that gives us access then into the intakes where we'll see the air filters. Okay, so we're going to remove the right-hand side panel. There are 5 Torx 25 screws that you need to remove. There are 3 underneath here. And remember, put those in a little tub. And then on the outside there are 2. So we've taken out our 5 screws out of the side cover. I'm now going to pull it off and we will reveal the air filter underneath. Put this on the floor, but don't stand on it. Underneath here is the air intake. That goes down into the air filter itself, which goes through to the throttle bodies. You can see how dirty it is in here. We're going to give that a bit of a clean up, and then we're going to pull out this particular filter sock. Everything we're doing on this right-hand side is a repeat on the left-hand side. You're going to see in a moment how much dirt is actually in that air filter. This is about 4,500 kilometers of Karoo dust. Okay, time to pull out the air filter sock. You can see I got my gloves on, and watch when it comes out how it actually goes right back into the air intake tube, and you can actually see the dirt that is inside that sock. And what we're going to do now is put it into this tub, and we're going to give it a clean. Okay, we're going to put in some air filter cleaner, and you just have to sort of let it soak in there a bit, and you can see already all of the dirt and filth that is coming out. Obviously you would do this with the other sock at the same time. We just don't want to make the video too long, and basically you clean all of this out. You give it a couple of good squeezes and you can see already it's getting much cleaner. You can turn them inside out a little bit because that dirt goes all the way up into that end of that sock. So you give it a good clean, get it nice and clean with this air filter cleaner. It takes away all the sticky honey type air filter foam oil and then leaves all the dirt behind. As you can see, you can reuse this stuff. You just got to let it settle in the bottom of the container so that you have sort of a clear liquid on the top and all the dirt settles at the bottom. So now we've actually been cleaning it for about 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see the filth that has actually come out of it. And what you've got to do now is just take a microfiber towel and just pat it dry so that you get any remnants of the air filter cleaner fluid out of it. You want it as dry as possible before we actually reapply the Motorrad air filter oil. Okay, so Motorrad air filter oil, clean container. You don't need to use a lot of this stuff. We just pour a little bit in. You'll see it's like sticky like honey. That's more than enough to do 2 filters. And what we're going to do now, take our clean filter, gloves on because this is where it gets sticky, and you actually just work it into that oil. Scoop it all up, and then you're going to knead this like you're making a bread loaf. And you're going to make sure it goes all the way through the foam. And then what you're going to do is try and get as much of it out as possible. You can see how sticky this stuff is. It's really like honey. And then gently just squeeze and get as much as the filter oil out as you possibly can, so it just sort of leaves a light layer on the foam. And you end up with something that looks pretty much like that. That's going to go back in the bike, but before we do that, we're going to clean up the air intake area. Okay, to clean up the air intake area, we're going to use a little bit of brake parts cleaner. You don't need a lot, just kind of squirt it on and then clean off as much of the old sticky residue as you possibly can with a microfiber towel to keep it clean around the radiator area, and even give that a bit of a clean while you're in there. What we'll do now is we will put the air filter sock back in to the ram tube. Okay, we're going to put the air filter sock back in now, and basically it just slides in there. And a little trick that I've learned is if you take a 3/8 drive socket extension and just gently push it, it helps you to get it nicely in. You want to get it to about that position, remove that, and then literally you're just going to fold it over the ram tube. Make sure it's tucked underneath at the back. Get it on nice and square. And it's ready for action. Okay, last screw back in on the panel, and then she is good to go. And down in the ram tube, you can see a nice clean air filter sock from Unifilter. What we're going to do next is the main air filter. For that, we've got to take the seat and the tank cover off. Okay, now we've done the filter socks, the pre-filters in the ram tubes. We're actually going to take the main air filter out, which in this bike we also have it as a Unifilter. We'll show you that in a moment. But first, to do that, we need to take the seat off and this tank cover, which the seat's pretty easy. I'm sure you all know how to do that on your bike. You basically unlatch it, pull it off, put it to one side, and then on the tank cover we've got a couple more T25 screws and one T30, and then that will come off. Once we've got it off, we'll show you what's inside. Okay, once you've got your 5 screws out, you're going to give your tank cover a little bit of a pull up. It feels a little bit wrong sometimes, but it actually just needs to be pulled quite firmly up and off. You'll see there on the air filter that we've got a Unifilter sticker. You can see how much dust is in here. That if it gets serviced at BMW, they know that there's a Unifilter in there, and we take care of our own filters. Okay, once you've got your covers off, you loosen the 4 screws on the filter housing cover and very carefully pull it out, and it will reveal the Unifilter underneath. And you can actually see there is a little bit of dust in that Unifilter, and it's the same procedure as the air filter socks on the ram tubes. We're basically going to take that out, wash it, re-oil it, and put it back in. And there's actually 2 layers to this air filter. It's got the yellow foam you can see there, and underneath that is the green foam, which you'll see in a minute. Okay, we'll take the air filter out now. Let's remove that plastic part. That will clean just now. And then the air filter actually just comes out over there. Try not to drop anything down there because that goes straight into your throttle bodies. Okay, so this is the Unifilter that replaces the standard BMW air filter. You can see it's got a steel cage around it. Underneath you can see that green foam that I was talking about. So this is the engine side. This is the dirty side. It's a little bit greasy because it's recommended that you put a grease seal on. We'll show you how to do that. And then to take it apart, to clean it, you're just going to pull the first layer out. And you can see already from where it's been underneath how dirty that is with dust. And then the green one will also come out. You've got to kind of grab it. And this is still really, really clean underneath. That dirt's from my hand. Okay, there we are. I finally got it out. You can see that on that side it's clean. That side's a little dirty, but it's mostly from my dirty fingers. And then on this side is a mesh, which the green goes against to stop it going through into the engine. What we're going to do now is clean all this part with the air filter cleaner again. And this metal cage we'll clean with brake cleaner. And we'll see how much dirt comes out of those guys. little bit of cleaner again. Don't need much on this. And then again, like we did before. And you can see that the amount of dirt that came out of those two filters is really minimal. And the reason for that is because of the filter socks. We have pre-filtered that air. Those filter socks have caught most of the dust and most of the grime before it even gets to the air filters. There we go. They're now clean. We'll dry them and then we will re-oil them and we'll put them back in the bike. Okay, we're going to clean the other parts now with some brake parts cleaner again, just to get any sort of rubbish off them, and then give them a good old wipe with a microfiber towel and clean the inside plastic bit. You could also do this with the air filter cleaner if you really wanted to. But the brakes part cleaner also works really well. Okay, so we're just going to re-oil the two foam parts of the filter, and we're just going to use the leftover from the pre-filter socks. Remember, again, you don't have to doesn't have to be all glopped up, just a little bit is fine. So basically put them in like that, turn them over, and then just knead them together. Make sure that you've got an even sort of coat of oil all the way through the foam, and then you're just going to put it back into the metal housing. Okay, so we got them nicely oiled, and then what you do is you just put them back green side down first. This can be a little bit tricky, but you just want to make sure that all the foam goes right back into the corners of the filter housing, like that. You'll see underneath we have now a green foam against the mesh, and then the yellow foam goes in the top layer, ribbed side up. Again, make sure that it all goes back into the corners. Like that. Okay, so we've got a nice clean Unifilter, and you can see this lip here is what actually seals down into the filter. And what I like to do as an added extra is just take a little bit of grease, very small amount of grease, and spread it around this lip. For those of you that have ever ridden an MX bike or done your own maintenance on an Enduro or MX bike, you'll know that by putting a little bit of grease along the lip of your air filter helps it to seal perfectly against its mating surface, which if it isn't, can often let just a little bit of dust in. And this side of the engine, we want to keep as much dust out as possible. So it's a very, very light coating of sort of thick wheel bearing grease, and just spread it around like that. And then she plops straight back in to the filter housing, making sure that it is nicely snug down. We put it all back together. Okay, last screw going into the tank cover. Nice clean filters. Could probably give that a bit of a clean. But seat on, ready to go. Okay guys, so that's what we kind of filtered out of the one Unifilter sock. We haven't done the other one yet. And the main air filter. And that's after about 5,000 Ks of riding. Fairly dusty conditions, to be fair. But you really don't want that amount of dirt and dust in your standard paper air filter element. It's not a good idea, and as I explained earlier, I actually destroyed an engine on one of my bikes because of that exact thing. Most service intervals on an air filter are 20,000 kilometers. We clean these air filters out every single tour. So that's how we clean the air filters out on our bikes. You can get all of the stuff that we've shown you here today, the Unifilters, through Touratech in South Africa. They're in Centurion. I'll put a link in the description below. If you would like to see more videos like this on DIY maintenance on your own bike and how to look after it and protect it, let us know in the comments below. Please subscribe and share our YouTube channel. We're trying to do something a little bit different in the motorcycling industry. Also, the joke about Charlie, we love Charlie, and he's just done Long Way Home with his friend Ewan McGregor. It's out on Apple. You guys should check that out. See you out on the trails.